Good afternoon. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We are going to cover a few items. There haven't been a lot of updates. There's some activity going on preparing for students in the fall. And so I have a few updates to go through, and then the majority of the time that we'll spend together today will be answering the questions that you have. You can ask questions. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A option. So you can just click into that and you can type in questions, and I will do my very best to answer all of the questions that you type in. So I'll introduce myself really quickly. My name is Andrea Thomas, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Undergraduate at the David Eccles School of Business. And so I've been working with all of the undergraduate programs as we're getting prepared to have a safe fall experience for everybody coming back to campus. We're very much looking forward to getting back to campus and having students back on campus. And so we've been working hard to make sure that that is going to be a good experience for everybody. I'm going to share my screen now so that you can see a couple of slides. So most of what we're going to talk about today we've already mentioned, but we just have a little bit more specific detail on it. So the types of instruction, there's really 4 different types of instruction. And when we're ready to release the schedules on July 1st, you will see which class is going to be taught in which way. And so the types of ways that classes will be taught in the fall, we have in-person classes, and this is where the classes will be live on campus, and we'll have some social distancing that will follow. So we'll wear masks in class and we'll seat students 6 feet away from each other. You will have assigned seating so that we know if somebody starts to show symptoms, we can contact the people seated around them so that everybody has really good information about what's going on. So in-person classes are just what I said, you'll be attending in person. Then there are hybrid classes. Most of our classes are going to, if we have them on campus, they're going to be done in a hybrid way. And what that means is that part of the students will, if it's a Monday, Wednesday class, then part of the students will come on Monday, part of the students will come on Wednesday. And if it's not your day to be in class, then you will be experiencing the class via Zoom or video, interactive video. Then an IVC class is an interactive video conferencing. That means that it's an online class with a synchronous. So I'll tell you the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means that you will be attending class during the time you would normally attend class, but you'll be attending online. If it's asynchronous, that means the content will be online and you will be doing assignments, but you don't have to watch it during a particular hour in the day. Some classes that are asynchronous will have a session with the professor where you can ask questions, they'll do a webinar. So there might be some scheduled content, but you'll be able to watch the lectures and do the assignments according to your schedule during the week, but you'll still have due dates for those assignments. And so I've seen the schedules that we've submitted for undergraduate in the David Eccles School of Business, and we've prioritized as many freshman and B Corps classes as possible to be in person, but many of them, because of the size of the classrooms, will end up being hybrid. And then there's others that for professor, faculty preference. We have some faculty members that aren't going to be coming on class because they might have a health condition or for various reasons that they will be teaching the online classes. So before we made adjustments to the schedules that are happening right now, we did reach out to all the professors and make sure that we understood what their needs were so that we could incorporate that into the schedule. So all the changes that are happening right now, we submitted something to the university with new classrooms. We actually, for undergraduate classes, we didn't submit new times. We just submitted new classrooms, but that doesn't mean that the university is not going to come back and say, we actually can't put you in that classroom that you wanted, so therefore you have to make this adjustment. So none of the adjustments are final until they get released on July 1st. They're going to be sending the spreadsheet back to us, or the information back to us, by the 29th of June, and we'll have between the 29th and 30th to finalize everything before it gets released to you on July 1st. If you already have classes in your schedule and there's changes to your schedule so that it doesn't work anymore for you, you will have from July 1st through actually the second week of class to lock in your schedule. One of the things that has happened with making some room changes is that we have, in some cases, increased the number of students that can take the class. So for example, if we had a 50-person class and the classroom holds 35, and we're doing a Monday, Wednesday alternating, then that actually allows us to put some more students in the class, because Monday you'll only have 35 and Wednesday you'll only have 35, and that would allow 70 to be in the class. So in some cases, if there's a class that you've wanted to get into that was full, check back July 1st, because there might be some additional availability in those classes. Also, I thought it would be helpful to be much more specific about physical distancing and what you should expect. So the reduced capacity in classrooms and labs, if you're working in a lab for a professor, or for example, one of the labs that we have in the David Eccles School of Business is the trading center on the first floor. And so the trading floor, we will have physical distancing as well, so 6 feet away from each other. So that will limit a little bit the number of people that can go in there. So we'll reduce that capacity. We're also going to restrict traffic patterns in hallways. So we'll have one-way signs on the floors and stairwells, just to make sure that you have the opportunity to be physically distanced. We will require wearing of face masks in all common indoor areas, which includes the classrooms. And when you're outside and you can't be 6 feet away from other people, then you'll need to be wearing a mask as well. So for those who don't have a face covering, the university will provide one to you. We have some disposable ones, and then we're ordering some permanent ones that you can go and you can wash. You can't expect to come on campus every class period and get a new mask. So you're going to need to keep track of the washable masks that you have. And they're actually made of cotton. They launder really easily. And so you need to be prepared to always have a mask on you so that you can be respectful of others and create a safe environment for us, so that we can, whenever you're in a building or whenever you're in a little bit more populated outside location, that you can be wearing your mask. Hand sanitizer and wipes will be provided in every classroom. The cleaning service that we have in the building will be cleaning classrooms, but there's not enough time for them to completely wipe down between classes. And so we will have the hand sanitizer and the wipes in every classroom, so that you have the opportunity to wipe down your space whenever you go into a classroom. And then I mentioned that we're still working with the registrar to make the changes to the classroom, so you'll have full visibility to what that looks like by July 1st. And then I just want to put this up again. I've done it several times. This is the university's website, returntocampus.utah.edu. They keep that completely updated. We also keep our Zoom or our online updated, our website. If you go to eccles.link/summer, or excuse me, fall 2020, so that's eccles.link/fall 2020, you can see a videotape of this webinar, you can get these slides, and then you also have a link to all of the frequently asked questions that we have been getting. We continue to update those. The university is also starting to do webinars, so there's one today, and they're doing them for for staff, for faculty, and then they're starting to do them for students as well. So I'm trying to communicate all the information that the university has, in addition to what that means in the David Eccles School of Business. But keep your eye out for this returntocampus.utah.edu, and they'll announce all the webinars that the university is doing. And they'll be able to give more information on what's happening with clubs or with activities across campus as they make those decisions. So I am going to stop sharing that, and then we're going to go to the Q&A. But before we do that, Kathy Hajab is here, and she is responsible. Not only is she a professor in the entrepreneurship and strategy department, but she's responsible for LaSalle, and so she has a lot of information on housing. And I don't know if there's very much new, Kathy, but it wouldn't hurt, in case we have some people who haven't been on earlier webinars, to kind of just give an overview of what housing's looking like.
So it's great to see everybody. Hi, I'm Kathy, as Andrea mentioned. So the LaSalle Studios, as well as all of campus housing, is really excited to get everybody back. So we'll be at what I would consider mostly full capacity for spaces. Campus has some triples. At LaSalle Studios, we have some lofts where more than 2 students typically reserve a space. Those spaces will come down to be dual occupancy. So we're working one-on-one with students right now to make sure their reservations are all appropriate. Move-in day will be extended a little bit. You'll be given a move-in time, date and time to come to kind of facilitate some social distancing that's going to be happening for move-in day. And then the experience on campus is our crazy new normal, right? So you'll be expected to wear face masks in common spaces. They'll be working to kind of curate smaller groups within the living communities so that they can do some contact tracing if they need to. One of the things that's really nice is the campus has a long history of managing students that need to be isolated for the flu or for any other kind of illness. And so that practice will be implemented this fall. Students that end up needing an isolation space, I think it's kind of cool. They get, room service with food delivered, and it really is a well-established practice. So know that you can feel comfortable coming to campus. It's going to be a safe space. It's going to be a crazy new normal for all of us, but we're excited to have you come.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kathy. I did want to just give you a little bit of broad context. So I think most of you know we actually have U Health on our campus, and they are just in the forefront of making policy and connecting with government. And so we get a lot of really good information from them. And so, there's some trends that are going on within the state of Utah. We have seen an uptick in cases, but it's still well below the capacity that we have. There is a decline in the number of deaths, so there's been a lot of progress in how they're treating COVID-19. And so right now we have active cases. We have 2 per 1,000 population. So right now there's 6,322 active cases in the state of Utah as of Tuesday. And that basically represents 2 per every 1,000 residents. And so while that's increasing, which frankly, as they're opening up businesses and people are getting out a little bit more, there's been some protests downtown and other places. So, people are out and about a little bit more. They're tracking all of that very, very carefully. We are still currently on the University of Utah campus in an orange rating. So the very first webinar I did, I talked about red, orange, yellow, and green. Green isn't back to how things were in 2019. Green is this adjusted new normal. And each one of these colors gives us a little bit more specific guidelines on what we're going to be doing. So just so you know, we are planning to be in yellow. The classroom restrictions that we've been putting in place are, is all assuming that we'll be in yellow. And in conversations with the state and city government, they're watching this closely. We're still in orange, but they are anticipating that we will be in yellow by the time school starts. In the event that we are still under orange or go to red, classes will be moved online because in an orange state and a red state, the university is closed. And so all of the professors are preparing in the event that they're sick or that something happens and we have to go back to orange or we have to go back to red, they'll be ready to pivot. But every indication within the state is that we need businesses to be open. We need the economy to get started again. We've put some very smart protocols in place. Kathy was talking about what we do if somebody in one of the dorms gets sick. So there's been time to plan and put protocols in place. And so we have every indication that we'll be in yellow and that we'll be able to run the whole semester in yellow. But like I said, pandemics, we don't know, so we're planning for other scenarios as well. I did get a question, how will attendance groups be determined? That's something that the faculty member will decide, and you will know before the first day of class which group you are in. I don't know if they'll do it alphabetically. I don't know if they'll let people sign up or opt into it. But what will happen, it will be more structured than it's been in the past, where not only will you be assigned an attendance group, but you will be assigned a seat. And that's just so we can do the contact tracing and we can control the situation in the event that somebody gets sick or starts to show symptoms. And so that will be determined by your faculty for that class and will be communicated to you before the first day of class. One thing that this pandemic has taught us as faculty is to rely on the technology and to rely on communication within Canvas and the other tools that we have. And so this is something that you will be getting a syllabus, and the syllabus is going to look a little bit different this year because it's going to have a lot more details on the pandemic in the syllabus. It's going to talk about what happens if your professor gets sick, where do you look for messages around that, and what happens if somebody doesn't wear a mask to class and these types of things. So all of that will be in the syllabus, and so you will have all of that information, and communication will be really key. I got another question. How far in advance will the decision be made if classes are moved online? Is there a deadline for the decision before the start of classes? So the pandemic is such that the government is making decisions, and they usually, and I'm just going back in time looking at what happened in the spring and when we've kind of moved as a state, different counties and different cities that have been moving, they usually give a few days notice. And so they'll make an announcement like on a Thursday that this is what's starting on Monday. There are places within the state of Utah that are at green. They're at a new normal green, but they are at green. Pretty much everywhere in the state is at yellow except for Salt Lake City. And then there's a couple of counties in the southeast corner of the state that are tourist kind of counties that have a lot of visitors coming in, and they're still orange. And so you will know, we're anticipating that we'll know in July that when we'll be going to yellow. And the university isn't the only educational institution. All K through 12 is also looking very closely at what we're going to be doing for fall. So we'll have a lot of notice in what the plan is based on all of the information, what the plan is for fall. Now, if something happens in the middle of the semester, like happened in spring semester, that requires us to shut down campus, usually that happens a little bit more quickly, but they understand and do phases of how to handle things. So for example, in the spring, when we shut down, when we moved classes online, the dorms didn't completely shut down. There was plenty of opportunity for people to make arrangements. I don't want to panic you at all because we are fully expecting to be in yellow and to stay in yellow, but we wouldn't be good administrators if we didn't plan for any event that could happen. And so that's why I didn't mean to make you feel like it's an inevitability that this will happen. They have been very cautious. I talked to you a couple webinars ago about the staging of the start of class, how we're not leaving for fall break and people aren't going to be coming back, will be online after Thanksgiving. That's to minimize the amount of travel of people coming in and out of the state and from out of the country. And so the plan in the very beginning has made accommodations for all of those things. So the protocols of if and when students get sick for their classes, we do expect that, we're in a pandemic, and a normal year we have students that get the flu. We have this virus that is around. So we are expecting that there are some people who may get sick. So we are telling everybody and expecting that if you feel sick at all, if you have a temperature at all, if something just doesn't feel right, do not come to campus. There is a way that you will be able to participate in your class if you're not on campus. And so you will be able to get all the materials, still do all of the assignments, and just participate remotely if you're sick. One other thing that might happen is somebody that you sit by in class got sick, and so then they'll ask you to not come to class for a period of time so we know if you're going to get sick or not, and you'll be able to participate in class during that period of time. So we'll be watching it closely. That's why communication is going to be so important. And so, we'll be telling you in the syllabus when you get to campus all of the ways that you'll be getting information on your classes so that you will always know what's going on. I got a question. Freshmen won't be able to register for classes until July 6th, correct? Not necessarily. So as an incoming freshman, you are assigned an orientation time, and then after you go through orientation, you will meet with an academic advisor, and then you will be able to register for classes. If you've gone through orientation before they shut down the registration system to update classes, then you will have access to that when they come back online on July 1st. If your orientation isn't scheduled until, let's say, July 20th, then you'll be able to register for classes after you've gone through orientation. So your registration timing is set on your orientation, and assuming that the system is back up and running. So question about proctored exams. Will they be better than they were in the spring? So one of the things that happened in the spring is that there was absolutely no notice about people going online. We had a weekend and 2 days. And so when it came to the exams, the capacity of ProctorU was having trouble. I was teaching an MBA class, and I gave an exam, and halfway through the exam, the ProctorU went down. So I had to make an adjustment for that. So that learning curve we've lived through. And so this summer, all classes have been online, and they've been utilizing the resources for exams. And not every exam is proctored. That's a decision that the professor makes. So it has gotten a lot better. There's been a lot more training, and there's been a lot more consideration of how to give those exams. So I do expect that things will be better than they were in the spring when everybody was kind of figuring it out and didn't have time to plan ahead. So what about people who do not exhibit symptoms but still spread the virus? This is why we're doing social distancing. This is why we're wearing face masks. This is why we're having hand sanitizer and wipes everywhere so that we can keep everything clean. And so that way, if somebody doesn't know that they have symptoms, that you're still being protected, and that they're still protecting others with those kinds of protocols. So we are doing, and we update as we get better information. We update the protocols, and being part of U Health, there's not a lag. We get information. Dr. Good, who's responsible for all of U Health, does webinars all the time, and he's communicating all across campus. So we're getting the best information that's out there on what's happening with the progression of the coronavirus 19 or the COVID-19. And so those are things that are being incorporated and considered as we put the steps together for you when you get to campus. So I think that is all of the questions. Please type a question if you have other questions. And I'm going to check really quick to see if there's... Okay. Question about move-in day assignments. So Kathy, do you want to take the move-in day assignment?
Sure, and I replied via the chat to everybody. So know that housing will assign different move-in times. So watch your email. I think that's one of the best tips of all. When in doubt, keep on top of your email, because the university is communicating through that, through your email quite regularly. Also, you can check the housing.utah.edu website, but you'll be given a date and time. And of course, if you've got some special circumstances, you need to come to campus early, or if that time does not work for you, you can certainly reach out and contact housing. They've got a full team of housing associates that you can call. All those details are on their website if you need to make special accommodations.
Okay. And then I'm putting her on the spot a little bit, but Tara, I am going to have you come in and explain. I got a note on how new student orientation is working. They've had to make some adjustments on that. And so I may have misspoke on the July 6th. So Tara, do you want to explain how it's working for incoming freshmen? And sorry to put you on the spot for.
No, I'm happy to jump in. So hi there, my name is Tara. I'm the Director for Office of Student Engagement and Assessment, and we coordinate new student orientation. So we're the folks you're probably getting lots of email communication from right now. So how orientation is going to be running and enrollment subsequently is from now until July 6th. If you participate in orientation, you will go through the Eccles NSO course. You'll have an advising session, but you won't able to actually enroll until July 6th. So just as Andrea mentioned, if your orientation date is after July 6th, you will be enrolling as a part of your orientation process. But for those of you who are in the from now until July 6th orientations, we will be talking to you and sending you videos about how you can enroll on your own, or how you can contact peer advisors who work with academic advisors to help you get enrolled past that July 6th date. So we'll have some pieces put in place and ways for you to connect back with advising once you're able to actually enroll in courses. So I hope that clears it up. But Andrea, if you get any more specific questions about enrollment, I'm happy to jump in.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Tara. Okay, I had another question. Okay, a student, and this might be for you, Tara. Student finished the general NSO. When do I get the David Eccles NSO? It's actually not a separate one. So Tara, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah. So there are sort of two processes that happen in tandem a bit. So the central campus, who you first hear from, right? You go through the central campus MSO that talks about the University of Utah broadly. And then what happens is they give your student ID to the business school, and then we reach out with you in accordance to the orientation week that you signed up for. So for example, if your orientation week was next week, you hear from your Eccles NSO team the Friday before your assigned orientation week, and you're added to our Canvas course. The email that we send to you outlines your entire Eccles orientation process. That content is updated for those of you, again, who are not able to enroll until July 6th. And then you are able to complete the Canvas course at the duration of your Eccles Canvas course. So again, this is the second Canvas course you'll be taking as a part of your overall orientation experience. You have options to sign up for your advising session, which is the last component of your orientation process and where you get your academic hold lifted, which you have to have that lifted in order to register. So it's really important if you have questions about the process. Andrea, I'm happy to chat you the link for our orientation website. Sorry, my dog is shaking like crazy next to me. And that actually outlines all of the communication for each orientation session, so you know exactly when you'll hear from us and what you're expected to do and when you're expected to do it.
Okay,
so I can share that.
Okay, what I'll do, Tara, is if you can send that to me, I will add that to the slide deck that we're posting on the Eccles site. So if you go to eccles.link/fall2020 and look at today's slides, I will add that to the slide deck so that you can link into all the NSO questions. And there was a question about business scholars. So all incoming freshmen, whether you're a business scholar or not, will go through new student orientation or NSO using the same process. The business scholars will have an orientation the Friday before school starts. We'll be doing it in shifts so that you won't have, we won't have too many people there, and you'll be able to do social distancing. And so more information will come on that, but that is totally separate. All incoming freshmen need to go through new student orientation. If you are a business scholar, you will be signed up for a business scholars section, so you don't have to register for one. The business scholars team will register you for that, but you just have to make sure that your Friday morning is available so that the classes can fit in there. We have multiple sections of business scholars. Okay, great. Let me just check one more time. I think we've answered all the questions. So we are doing this every Thursday from 1 to 2, or starting at 1 till whenever we've answered all of the questions. Feel free to, if you have questions between them, there's a place that you can go on our site. There's a chat function, so you can add questions there if you want to get your questions answered more quickly, or if you want to let us know about a topic that you want us to cover on the next webinar. So we just really want to thank you for participating and for coming to the Eccles School of Business. We're really, really excited to have you on campus. And we have multiple meetings a week getting more specific information. I mean, we're down into the details now about circulation in the buildings and you know, those types of things. And so we're getting a lot of work done planning ahead to make sure that everybody's safe and has a really great semester. So have a great rest of your day and a good weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday if you want to participate to ask any more questions. Thanks.